As you know, I'm not one to apologize for things I meant to do, but I do apologize to you, sir, because I didn't intend to hit him. I sell calls with my arms. I don't fall or to sell a call. I'm not a flopper. So I was just selling the call because he was grabbing me and pulling my hip back. So I spun away, and unfortunately, I hit him.
What's going on with him? I don't know. Personally, I feel like that brother needed help. And I'm glad he not try to choke me, but at the same time, it had nothing to do with basketball, man. Like, I'm just out there trying to play basketball and out there swinging.
Damn, Nurkic was having a pretty dang good game last night. Welcome back to Ran-DomU University, where today I have returning after a little hiatus and would have gave y'all a little bit more content earlier this week, but quite frankly, I've been feeling like balls. And not those good, healthy balls. We're talking about those old, dominated, drained up, no good pruny balls. The ones that can't really produce or do anything that's, well, worthwhile. Hopefully that wasn't a little bit too much for this channel, but either way, I'm quite sick and tired of looking at this guy that we see here on the screen. Draymond Green. Another guy whose face that I'm pretty sure everybody wants to hit at this point in time. And if you're an NBA player, yeah, you should be wanting to give this guy a nice swift kick to the gonads because quite frankly, it seems like he doesn't really value yours. And it's one of those things like, guys, how much longer is everybody gonna take it? I mean, this is the guy who literally complains more than anybody in the NBA. All he does is literally complain over and over and over with the referees. Like, how many more instances can you see where Draymond Green is constantly yelling at the referees? He is worse than a mall Karen. He is a person that's going to constantly just complain about everything and anything that's going on. He's the kind of person who walks onto your job and tells you how to do your job even though he's never done it a day in his life. He's a guy who's constantly asking for the manager, asking to talk to the commissioner. Let me see your higher ups. He's that guy. And you know what? I think most people are fed up with it at this point in time. And they should be. I mean, most people should be sick of it. I know I am. And nonetheless, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get into today's video. Now, before I get started on today's sweet poetic justice that needs to be dished out towards Draymond Green, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. As yes, we have finally reached 1K, but the next goal is 10K. And we can't get there without you clicking that button. So hopefully you've enjoyed some of the content that you've seen on this channel before. I never get to talk about sports, so today I would really like to dive in just a tad bit.
Optimus, maximize!
Now, if you're an athlete at all, or if you've really dealt with any, bully or some douchebag in life, and you realize they're the kind of people that you always notice and you look around and it's like, why don't they ever pick on somebody their own size? You know, that old cliche. Or why don't they actually mess with somebody who would really bite back or do something to them? They always seem to pick on somebody much smaller than them, or somebody who's much more kind, or somebody who doesn't have fighting inside of their blood or bones. They're always one of those people who love to pick on somebody and flex their self, and flex their muscles and pound out their chest and just be like, I'm the big guy, I'm the big tough guy, I'm the man on campus. Like, no, you're not. You're really just a big bitch. Like, truthfully, that's why you don't test anybody who's for real. You don't test anybody who's a little bit on your level. It's sort of like in cartoons or in fighting movies or something like that, where somebody doesn't ever want to, combat somebody that's equal to their level, or somebody who's definitely above them, because quite frankly, they can't, run the risk of losing. Because if they did, then their entire reputation and everything that they're all about just goes right out the window, and they are just an utter joke at that point in time. Where the real people in the situation already know that this guy's a joke to begin with, and that's why they usually don't even bother to mess with them in the first place. But in the NBA, there's a lot of people who just aren't really tough or really about that life when it comes to it, because ball is life. I mean, that's what it comes down to when it's NBA. At least when, I thought that's what basketball was all about. But I get frustrated when I watch all these dudes just watch Draymond continue to go on and commit these atrocities on the court, and they do nothing about it. It's one of the most frustrating things I've ever seen as a basketball fan, because quite frankly, the stuff that he pulls off in these NBA games, he wouldn't get away with at the rec center or sports complex or anything that's, in your local neighborhood, or just anywhere where you and your boys go play ball. Like, you just go kick somebody in the nuts or bash them upside the head or give them a deliberate elbow or just slap somebody upside the head. there are going to be hands thrown, and it's not going to be pretty. Somebody's going to probably be choke slammed. Somebody's going to have to bite the curb. Somebody's going to have to eat some dust. I mean, it's going to get ugly at some point in time in the future. Just saying. Now, my whole point of that little soliloquy right there was just the fact that if you notice the pattern that Draymond has been on, the track record of him is that he doesn't pick on anybody who's known to be tough. He's always seeming to go after foreigners or the guys who are from overseas. Like, these are not people who are known for fighting. They literally just come over here to play basketball and have a good time and try to learn the language, half of them to begin with. So why is it that you only pick on them? I never see him pick any of these beasts with American players. Like, he tried to come at LeBron that one time, but he just like came with like a little love tap to the balls, but nothing major, you know what I'm saying? But that was really about it. Everybody else has been Rudy Gobert, Yusuf Nurkic, Domantas Sabonis, and Steven Adams, like people from Venezuela, Argentina, everywhere else but here. So I'm just curious as to why. Like, these people aren't going to literally like deliver bombs to your doorstep. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows that's not the crazy, stereotypical stuff that's going to happen. Like, he's not going to do stuff like that. Like, he's never going to test those people to that degree. He's just going to do something dirty to them on the court and expect them to not say anything, because most of them aren't. Most of them are really kind people, and most of them are just guys who genuinely try to do the best for their families and set themselves up for the future. While everybody over here wants to act like we have the hardest and most tough and difficult lives of anybody on earth, which, yes, some of these people have grown up in some horrible, terrible situations, but that's not the point here today. No pro athlete has more unnatural body movements than Draymond Green. He always claims that he didn't mean to commit any of these on-court atrocities, whether it was the time he tried to love tap LeBron James in the balls or the time he tried to perform a trans surgery on Steven Adams with zero anesthetic. And how about the time that his arm and brain malfunctioned and he tried to permanently put to rest his teammate Jordan Poole? Except for the fact nobody really cared about that because it was, Jordan Poole. The kind of guy who has one of those mustaches you don't trust. Like, if you were to put him in a police uniform, he would most definitely plant drugs on someone or beat somebody over the head with a baton and claim that his body cam malfunctioned. But back to Draymond, don't want to get sidetracked. We also haven't forgot about the time just about a year ago where he used Domantas Sabonis as a jump pad like he was playing slam ball or dunking on kids at Sky Zone. Then we also have this latest incident where he decided he was going to deliver one of the most vicious reverse backhand shots like he was in a fight of UFC with Yusuf Nurkic. And what is this body movement? Like, what is this exactly? What happened here? Like, basketball players are supposed to be able to control themselves. Like, I don't understand how this happens. You're a professional athlete. Like, if you had Tourette's or something like CJ2K, it would make sense. But at no point in the NBA draft process or during his NBA career has anything like that ever came out. Never. Hasn't came out. I haven't heard that he's watched too much TikTok and developed these unnatural hit you in the face tics that he can't control and needs to go to rehab for to fix it. Nothing. Nada. As a person who plays basketball myself, the 10-cent Chef Curry, I don't understand how so many players can be so pussified and scared to get some get back on Draymond. You don't have to blow up the man's car like he's the Joker or P. Diddy, but someone should consider at least rearranging a man's face a little bit. Maybe a little face surgery could lead him to fixing his big ass mouth, where he doesn't sound like his tongue weighs as much as a wakeboard, or is tied to an ankle weight. Now look, here's a short story going back into my past a little bit. When I was in 5th grade the first time, and yes, there was a first and second time because I was a dummy and had to try that shit again. Hardy har, go ahead and laugh away. But nonetheless, there was this douche that thought he can get away with saying whatever he wanted to me without any repercussions. Well, he learned by lunchtime that day that was not the case. Because as soon as we had our bathroom break after lunch, I walked in and saw him using the urinal, and I immediately kneed his ass and made him pee all over himself. Made him call his parents, embarrassed him, made all the kids see pee all over his legs, dripping all over me, cried. It was a shame. Quite awful when I think about it. It makes me sound like I was the bully. But quite frankly, I just needed to get that get back. You know what I'm saying? But either way, I just walked out and stood right in the line like nothing had ever happened. Now, I did get paddled for it, and, well, it was worth it. Still is today. Actually, when I think about it, I wonder how he's actually doing. But, oh well. I'm starting to get sidetracked a little bit. Anyway, someone needs to get some get back and get some on-court justice and kick Mr. Green so hard in the balls that he starts to reconsider his pronouns. Like, he needs to start reconsidering whatever sex that he was when he was born. Like, he needs to seriously need his almonds get surgically pulled back out of him after the deed is done. Like, that's how bad somebody needs to go ahead and uplift this man and deliver pain to this dude. Like, this stuff pisses me off. This dirty junk that he's done to people, it makes me so angry. We need to go back and get some justice for Steven Adams. Grit and grind. Now, hopefully you enjoyed the content today. Once again, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 10K. I'm gonna always keep reminding you guys, because boy, we got to keep hitting that like, share, and subscribe button. Well, at least a subscribe button. It's one of those. But, like for the algorithm, and that really helps. If you like, and comment. Please comment on the video if you have any thoughts about Draymond Green, because quite frankly, I'm just sick of Draymond. Like, I've had enough. I mean, Draymond's a great basketball player, and he's one of those dudes I'd probably love to have on my team, but also at a point that he was on my team constantly costing us games because he's getting kicked out of games because he can't stop kicking people in the nuts, then yeah, I might literally consider kicking him in the ass or in the nuts. One of those two things is going to have to take place at some point in time, because he's costing us basketball games, and especially, like, all those players are my age or older, so time's running up. The NBA career is not forever, y'all. I mean, they could have probably won about 7-8 championships by now, but he's done cost them about 4 of them because of his idiocy. And that's just quite a bit. Now, he's going to make the Hall of Fame, so anybody who doesn't think he's going to, I mean, that's just lunacy, you guys. I mean, it is kind of frustrating to think that, like, people who can continue to get away with this stuff, like Chris Paul and Draymond and these dirty-ass players, like, I just wish somebody would go out there and do what's necessary, because all I know is this stuff just wouldn't fly anywhere outside of the NBA or even on some regulated court. And that's where all these fake tough guys, like, quite frankly, Draymond Green isn't any different than the pranksters that I, talk about on this channel and stuff like that. Like, he's just sitting there hiding behind the security of the NBA. Like, them dudes be hiding behind their security guards talking trash like they're actually about that life when they're not. They're not about anything. Draymond's really not about anything. He's just some big, strong dude who really isn't that tough, who just wants to act tough and take advantage of people who aren't willing to fight him. So that's why I had no respect for Draymond Green, except for the fact that he's a good basketball player. Other than that, like, he can literally get these hands. Like, he can get them hands. We'll see you soon.